to Wally Bra. Oh dear, what have I let myself in for, eh? Well, I'm going to make a bird box. But not any old bird box, no. A Darth Vader's TIE Fighter bird box. Now, if anyone's watched my previous live stream, which was a bit of a session it was, where I made a gargoyle letterbox. As you do, because they're the sort of things that you do, and hey, no, okay. Well, I did. That looks hilarious. And we got the thumbs up from the post ladies today, so that was a good sign. But today, I want to make a bird box. To go along with our rewilding kind of, I say rewilding, it's more of a, I'm more interested about wildlife, if I'm absolutely honest. We're planting trees and stuff, you see, so we want to be able to have things there for the birds and other little creatures as well. So I had this mad idea after somebody commented about something before and what we're going to be next. And I thought, why not a TIE Fighter bird box? So I don't know why, it just come out of my head. I don't know what's in there, but not a lot. Not a lot, yeah, but there's obviously something there. So, yeah, I've committed myself now to building a TIE Fighter bird box. I feel like a right tit, I do, yeah. Not a blue tit or a great tit, no, just a tit. Ooh, okay. Anyway, who's there today anyway? So, it's going to be fun. I hope so, anyway. I hope you can enjoy it. It's going to be a bit different, I must say. Not every day you make a TIE Fighter bird box. Hello, Ginger's Drafts. Hope you're well. Hello, Kit Kat. Hello, Peter. Hey, Suzanne, how you doing there? I hope you're well. And Paul Hunt, how you doing? Hey, Mod Green 19. Mad Monk. How you doing, buddy? And Paul Hunt. Wow. I'm the first to post. Well, that's you. You did it. You did. You'll get a badge and a sticker. That's what you ought to get. Oh, my computer's going ping. Well, I got my schematics. Yeah, I got my schematics. They're all ready. They're all ready for my... It's not going to be any old TIE Fighter, no. This one's going to be a Darth Vader's TIE Fighter. Now, the reason I've chosen Darth Vader's TIE Fighter, not Kylo Ren's or the ordinary old TIE Fighters, because it seems the most simple one to build. It's not, but in some ways it is. Because a traditional TIE Fighter is like a ball, isn't it, in the middle, and it's got the two solar rays either side. Yeah, they're solar rays, if you didn't know. But Kylo Ren's have these like big pointy bits and stuff. There's a bit too much going on there, so it makes it a bit vulnerable. You've got to think about the weather, you see. You know, it's going to be flapping about in the wind because it's going to be hanging from a tree. The only thing is, it's going to be quite weighty, which is a good thing. It's not going to be like an ordinary old bird box with a little tiny hole in the middle. No, it's going to have a little bit extra detail. And you're going to try. I've never built anything like this. I'll be absolutely honest with you. So it's going to be trial and error, I think. I might make a few errors on the way. I hope not. There's a certain amount of artistic license going on. You know, there's going to be it's going to be a little bit stylistic in a way, but it's, because I'm limited by the amount of time I've got, but also the fact that it's made of wood, and the fact that it's only a little bird box. I've got to be absolutely honest. You can spend a bit too much time building a bird box. So if you see here, look, these are the solar rays. I didn't realise all this, you see. It tells you what everything is. We've got the ion engines. Think about the ion engines. They're very important, they are. And the solar ionised reactor. And let me just minimise it so you can see it. Let me put you down a second. Then we'll get to it. There we go. There we go. That's a bit better. So we have the ionised engines. Very important, they are, obviously. The solar ionised reactor. You can't have a TIE Fighter without a solar ionised reactor, can you? No, definitely not. The wing braces, they're obviously bits of the wings don't fall off. Obviously, you've got your solar rays. Egress hatch. Why can't they just call it a hatch? That's how you get in and out of your TIE Fighter. If you've got one, that is. Main transparasteel viewpoint, which is the hole at the, the windscreen. Let's call it the windscreen. And then we've got the sensor array. Oh, you get a bit of sensitivity there, yeah? And the access bay. Okay, what? There's not enough room to get anyone in there. So what's that all about? I don't know. And the laser, obviously got to have a laser cannon. We've got to have laser cannons. I might even put some solar-powered laser cannons on this one. I'm still waiting for my solar lights for the... they'll be in stock soon, I've been told, for the gargoyle's eyes. So, anyway, let's get to it. So what we got is a bit of a... how to put it? I'm flying by the wing of my pants. Wing of my pants? Seat of my pants, that's it, seat of my pants. So, I thought to myself, I need something to make sure that the bird box inside is dry. So how was I going to do that? I thought to myself I could, I don't know, bit tar over the top. I didn't think the little great tits would enjoy that too much. And I thought to myself I could use a tin. The first thing was I thought about using that, to build it around. So whatever happens, if the wood shrinks, what have you, and creates any little fractures in the timber, the little birdies will still be dry. So I thought, okay, I'll have a look at this. So I did. I measured it. That I did. Oh, and I said that. Oh, because you need about 120 millimetres, 12 centimetres minimum to the bottom of the hole they've got to get in and out of. And I thought myself, that's a bit too close to the roof. They'll be banging their head every time they get in and out of their TIE fighter. That won't be very good, will it? No. Health and safety and all that, you've got to think about that. So I thought to myself, oh, look what I've got over here. It's a bit bigger, yes. And this is a popcorn box. Movies, pops, Hollywood and all that. But anyway, it's popcorn. And it made a lot more sense. 120 or 12 centimetres at the bottom there, which would be about, 4 3/4 inches. The hole will be about there, which could be one of the segments of the windscreen, or as they call it, the, what do they call it again? Not the access bay, no, main transparacil steel viewpoint. Okay, I'll call it windscreen. So, anyway, that is what we're going to use, not the tin can. But first of all, if you're going to have a TIE fighter of any description, you need a fuselage, the round bit in the middle. So that's going to be what my goal is today, is to do the first stage is the round bit in the middle. So it needs a fuselage. So we're going to be using that, but also I want to cover it in wood. Yeah, because the only reason I want to use this is to make sure it's like having an internal skin, to make sure they don't get all cold and wet. You've got little cold and wet little great tits. No, all blue tits or any tits, in fact. But if it's going to be blue tits, I'll be putting a little slightly smaller hole for them to get into. So blue tits and what's the other one? Oh, anyway, blue tits about 25 to 28 millimetre diameter hole, whereas a great tit was a 32 millimetre diameter hole. But I haven't seen that many blue tits here, well, where we live, but there's plenty of great tits. So I do want to encourage blue tits, but I'll do that with standard type bird box. I don't want to go to all this trouble and find that there are no blue tits to go in it. So this one's going to be for great tits. Yes, because they're great. Yes, the Empire and all that. Right, okay. So, first of all, we need 2 discs. One there and one there. So it's not going to be... this part here is going to be the fuselage. It's almost like a skeletal fuselage. And all the other elements, other details will be added to it. That's my idea. I might regret this, but we'll see. We'll see. Probably not, because it's Star Wars. Anyone who watches me on my other channel will know that I do have a fondness for Star Wars. And the reason for that is because it reminds me of my childhood. Growing up, what have you, Star Wars, New Hope. It's very much it feels positive to me. Even though it's the Empire and the Emperors and all that, mini-chlorians and people getting killed. Not great, I suppose, but it feels positive to me because it's memories. You must have it. It's nostalgia, I suppose. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the lid, and that's going to be my template, because my end panels, which is the first stage, is going to be made out of this plywood here, and this is 9mm plywood. Is it 9 ply? No, it's not. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 ply plywood. Plywood generally comes in odd numbers regarding the amount of laminations. And I just uploaded a video actually about plywood. Oh, well, it was yesterday actually. To understand the difference between marine ply and external ply, you know, WBP plywood. But anyway, that's another story. We're making a bird box TIE fighter. What the hell am I thinking? Anyway, I could just draw around that, but I'm not going to, and there's a reason for that, and I'll explain in a minute. If I draw around that, I'll never get the centre. Although, in fact, I probably could with this, because there's a little dimple in the middle of the plastic lid. So I could drill a little tiny hole in there, and that could be my marker for the centre. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use my compass. Ooh, everyone needs a compass. So I'm going to measure and see to the middle of this little plastic tub what the actual diameter or radius would be. In this case, I'm going to go for 100 millimeters, 4 inches thereabouts, for my compass. I had this compass years. It's quite old now. Oh my God, I do feel old. I feel very old. I'm ancient. Crikey. 52 this year. Oh dear. Put me down now. I hope I don't lose my madness. Or do you feel I'll get madder? Maybe. Okay, so I've got a radius of 100 millimeters, and I'm going to mark it on this plywood. That's my first stage. And then we've got to think about how we're going to skin it, and we're going to skin that with wood. Oh, wood. Oh, as you do. Oh, yep, okay. Alright, so I'm creating a disc. Now where that goes in the middle there, for future reference, I've got to make sure I've got a little dimple in the middle of that. And to make it really obvious, I'm going to use... Have I got a pen in my pocket? Nope, I haven't. A marker pen. Because all this is going to be painted anyway, so it doesn't matter if I mark it. It doesn't matter at all. So that's one. We're going to need two like that. Not enough room to do it on there, so it's either going to be there or here. Or I could just cut that one out and draw around it, but then you get a cumulative error. Why am I doing this? Please remind me. It will be fun though. It's going to be a fun bird box. And why the hell wouldn't you want a fun bird box? Do you know what I love about this sort of stuff? When you make things like this, mad stuff like this, when people come past and what have you, and they look at it, it puts a smile on their face. Well, what the hell's got on that bloke's head? You know, and it makes me tickle. That it does. So, I'll do that one as well. So we're creating two discs first of all in plywood. This is WPP plywood. It's not marine ply. I'm definitely not going to use marine ply for this job. It's too blooming expensive. Right, and guess what I'm going to use? I got a couple of choices, so I'm going to use both of those choices. And one's going to be the bandsaw, and one's going to be the jigsaw. Because some people have got the tools and some people haven't. So, you know, trying to cover all bases. That I am. Now go over there, Mr. Frisbee disc. Right. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Let's do that one first. And I'll do that with the jigs. No, actually, I'll do this one first, because then that removes that from this board. And then I can easily cut that one on the actual bandsaw. But first of all, I'm going to use a hold down. Pretty sure I happen to have one here, all ready for the job. This is a record hold down. Really handy, these things are. They come in the two-part, they're the 145s, and they're two parts. There's the part that goes in your bench, which is like a metal disc, I think you can see it there, that bit there, and then you get this. And it's so flipping useful. Now, these are quite old. I don't actually know if you can even still get them, if I'm not honest. Tools used to be so good. These days, you know, what can I say? There's lots of options of power tools, not so much options in the way of good hand tools. You know, or things that assist you to do the job that what you need to do. In this case, a TIE fighter. As you do. Anyway, who's on there? Who we got? Oh, I've got a bot comment. Hello, buddy. My son's on here. Hello, Matthew. How you doing, buddy? Hey, I made it. You did. Well, yes, we are making a TIE fighter, Matthew. And I know you do. I don't know if you've got a Darth Vader's TIE fighter in Lego. My son here, he likes making Lego models, which is pretty damn cool. He's got some pretty cool stuff there. And Kit Kat. Hello, Kit Kat. Glad he could figure it out. Ooh, he does. Woodwork and metalwork were my favourite subjects at school. Do you know what that was for me as well? I loved my woodwork subject with Mr. Childs. He was a fantastic woodworking teacher. Really, really lovely guy. I don't know if he's about still, probably not. But he was a really good guy. And I loved metalwork as well, and Mr. Green, and it was also a really nice subject. Sadly, when it came to the options where you had your choices, I couldn't take both. We weren't allowed, because obviously you had to make way for the other kind of things like English and maths. Well, I pretty much failed at all them anyway, but you know, there I am writing blogs. But yeah, no, it's good fun anyway. I really love woodwork. P. Dallas, Kit Kat, what's the charger of his phone? It took it off. Yeah, that was, you're right. I hope it's okay at the moment. The sound's okay at the moment. What it was last time is I've got this little device here. This is the receiver for my microphone, which you can see here. And what happens was last time, when I plugged in my power pack, which is here, via the cable, via the USB-C, I believe that's what's making the noise, was that. And the cable, interfering with the radio mic. I've just got to keep my wits about me to make sure that the camera, it's actually my mobile phone in fact, doesn't, run out of battery. Because that's quite important if that's the case. I have got other options in here as well regarding the microphone, so it's not a huge problem. But it's much better if I can keep the microphone near my big gob. It tends to sound a bit better than, because I'm moving about all the time, you get distance between me and the microphone, it'll sound hollow. So it's not that great. So that was why we had noise last time. It was interference via the microphone and the battery pack. That's what I believe. Anyway, I don't know why I courtesy, but I did. Sorry. Oh, I'm like the evil guy. Yes. Ginger Giraffe. Was it you asking about the electrics the other day? Regarding, I mentioned something to you. I think it was you, wasn't it, Gingers? The little device I found this. Yeah, I got it in my little box because I was thinking about you. Was this? I mentioned about if you plug something, you plug into your mains, and the two lights come on. You know that if that socket is wired correctly. And all that happens, you get two little lights come on. So if I show you, if I can find something to plug it into, that is. Ooh, sockets, they're everywhere, but never where you want them. Oh, there's one here. I might have to bring you a bit closer. Oh, that's looking good. Yep, that's correct. I don't want to show it if it's incorrect, you see. So let me just show you. They're not expensive either. If you want to get yourself one of these Gingers, it's definitely worth having. If you're worried about your electrics. Where is it? Okay, there it is. Can you see that? There's two little lights shine up on that. And because of the two little lights on the left-hand side, two lights, it means, you might not see it, but it says it's correct. There. Yeah? So if you can plug that into each individual socket, and you can tell whether or not each individual socket has all its cables attached, or whether or not your live and neutral's reversed, or whether or not your live and earth is reversed. For safety, whatever, it's a great thing to have. Anyone should have one. I think everyone should have one. Because, how else are you going to know, to be honest? So let's unplug that. Anyway, I digress. I do apologise. It's just that on the previous stream, we were talking about it. So let's get somewhere where that lighting going to shine in there. That's it. Right, there we go. Anyway, so we've got this here. First of all, I'm going to cut a disc. A frisbee, you could say. With my jigsaw. And I did another video the other day, a live stream actually, regarding cutting square with a jigsaw using a jig. And we made this in a previous live stream. And oh my God, I didn't realise how good it was. So I made a little short as well, short video, 60-second jobby, just under. And you know what? Now I've been working with wood all my life. And I didn't realise that something like this, simple as this, because I've never used it before. I made it the other day. But crikey, I couldn't believe how good the cut was because I used that. If I was cutting a right angle on a piece of pine, with this jigsaw, I can imagine it's going to be rough as old guts in comparison to my chop saw. But when you use that, the finish on your cut is just so smooth. Smooth as a baby's bottom. Oh, okay. Yes, so if you've got a jigsaw, make one of those. But also make a long one as well, without the T-bar on. So you can do nice, straight, smooth cuts in your wood as well. Brilliant. If I'd have known or realised it could have been so good, I could probably show you. I've got the bit of wood around there somewhere. Where is it? Oh, here it is. I feel like an automatron. Right. That is the cut using that jig. And that is so flippin' smooth. For a jigsaw, that's ridiculously smooth. Whereas the other side, see how rough that is? See how smooth that is? See how rough that is? Should I stop now? I think I should, shouldn't I, really? Anyway, I will. So, anyway. The reason why it's so smooth is because when you try and cut with a jigsaw, it's so easy to move like that as you're going through, and you create the kerf on the saw blade can actually break out on either side. So, yeah. Now, these discs are quite large, so I don't need to change the bit that the saw blade and this jigsaw blade. I think it's absolutely fine. So, should we get to it? Should we cut this? Let's bring it a bit closer so you can see what's going on. And this is going to be the first stage of our TIE fighter. I know I've been running on a bit, but you know what I'm like. I can't help it. I've got a big mouth. Oh no. Right, another one. Now I'm not worried if there's a bit of breakout because what we're using it for, it don't matter at all. Whenever you do a jigsaw, make sure you don't stand on the cable. Oops, or pull the tripod over. That's even a better idea. Let's move that out of the way. There you go. Yeah, I keep pulling on the cable with my foot, stand on the cable. All it's doing is trying to control the back of the actual jigsaw. So it's not a great idea. It's not really what I had in mind. But hey-ho. Oh, there. Where'd it go? Oh, there's like a black hole. Blimey. Anyway, I've got my disc. One disc done. One down. One to go. I'm quite excited about this. Can you tell? Oh, it did make me tickle with that gargoyle letterbox. It did make me tickle because the neighbours were very. Actually, I had a message from our local neighbour. Violet, and she said, "Oh, it's brilliant." You know, the gargoyle letterbox. That'll do. A couple of highs on it. Anyway, we've got one disc. Oh, dear me. So, I'm just going to cut this one off, because this one we're going to cut here. This one is going to be done on the bandsaw. Let's amputate it first. Amputation done. So I need to set you up near the bandsaw with the narrow blade. So I am just going to remove a few things. You can't see me. I'm hiding. That's because I'm in my mankini. Oh no! Oh dear me! Oh, I hope not. You don't want to see me in my mankini. All the bits they all fall out. They do. Oh dear. It's not great. No. Scares me. I'll tell you. All right. Okay. I've got my bandsaw. It's coming this way. You're safe now. I'll put my overalls back on. You don't want to see me in my mankini. I'll tell you. Blimey. Can you imagine it? Oh. Scary, scary thought. Oh, thankfully this thing's on wheels. Oh, look at that fantastic Wally Boss sign behind there. What can he say, hey? Brilliant, hey? Right, let's bring it down. Oh, dee 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 dee. Dee 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 dee. I can actually, yes, that's a very good point, Mike. If you want some noise, I can make some noise. I'm about to make some noise with bandsaw. Will that help? Anyway, good evening, Mike. Oh, is it cold and miserable in Manchester? It's actually been a really lovely day today. Cold, but a really lovely, lovely day. Yeah, get yourself one of them gingers, because you'll find they're cheap as well. They're not expensive. Definitely worth having. I just got it on Amazon. It's cheap as chips. My school had neither woodworking nor metalwork. My elective was laboratory in chemistry. Oh, brilliant. That's still pretty cool though, mate. 10th grade, my favourite subject was history. Yes, I'm a total nerd and geek. Nothing wrong with that. That's how you learn, mate, I tell you. It's interesting. The other night on my other channel, had a lot of interest regarding, was it Spartafly? Anyway, about nuclear fission and fusion and the difference between. That's actually quite interesting. You'd love to. Okay, Paul, you want me to let loose in my workshop? You're more than welcome to come and visit and have a play in my workshop. That applies to everybody. Providing you're nice people. I don't want any horrible people. No. Right, okay. We've had a problem with the electrics in our house, says Susan DeWitt. Something keeps tripping the circuit breaker, but no idea what it could be. Responsible, so you just leave it off. Well, either it's a problem with your cabling or it's a problem with your appliance. It's got to be one or the other. And obviously, if you put the appliance in and it trips it, well, then it's the appliance. Now, what a lot of people don't realise is if, for instance, a heater element like a cooker, well, obviously electric cookers have heat elements in. You know, an iron has a heat element, a heater element in it. I don't know. Let's say, for instance, your shower, electric shower has a heater element. The thing about heater elements are not that obvious. When they trip, they tend to wait until they get up to temperature and then they trip and they cut your electric out. You know, but you'll know. And you turn it on, whatever you're using, and if it trips your electric, you know it's that, don't you? If it's not that, well then it's something else more sinister. Now cabling, if you've got a problem with your cabling in your electrics, it can be a little bit more, how to put it, costly and difficult to find, because obviously, you can't detach it so easily. Now if you've got an English system, it's even harder. Because of ring mains, which I think are madness, but I know a lot of people disagree with me. I don't like ring mains. I think they're dangerous. I prefer the French system, which is a radial system. And it's tripped on both the neutral and the live. I know the load is on the live, but it's just safer. Double pole braking is always safer. Because you want to work on it, you flip the trip off, there's no potential feedback whatsoever to you. Less likely you're going to get zapped. And you won't want to get zapped, no, because you go like this. Yeah, not great. And don't put a sponge on that, no. Just bite down hard. Anyway, let's cut this one. And I'm doing this on the bandsaw. And this bandsaw does really need a new blade. I'm going to bring the guides down a little bit lower, because I've got a little roller guides there. Just a little bit more directional stability. A bit like having wheels on your car. And then I better plug it in. It's usually a good idea. It's usually plugged in, so I don't know what's going on here. Oh, there's my plug. I'll plug it in there then. That'll do. Oh no, I'll send that off. Why isn't that plugged in? I know why. Let's bring you over here. That's because the other day I was actually doing something else. That was when we were doing the gargoyle. Got that what short cable. Why is that so short? A bit like me. All right, go that way then. Will it reach now? Yeah, that'll reach now. That's good. Anyway, I'm going to plug it in and we'll be with you. Then we've got to make some some bendy wood. Because we're going to need some bendy wood to be able to bend the wood around the round bits. So, like I said, it's going to be a bit stylistic, but the more details we can add, the better. Because it's a TIE fighter after all. Got to defend the Empire. La 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 la. La la la. There we go. Hope that's too noisy. I can't hear myself think. No. Sounds like I'm strangling the cat. There you go. So that's our second disc. Turn that off. We don't need that for the minute, so I'll unplug that and I'll roll that back down the hill from where it comes from. You go over there, you. That's it. It's out of the way now. That's cool. Right, so now we've got two discs. 1, 2. Woohoo! Yes, that we have. So, the idea is they're going to sandwich this plastic container. Yeah, so one on one side and one on the other. That is my plan. That's my idea. Now, I know we've got to think about the wings. They've got to think about the wing struts and all that sort of stuff, or should I say the solar array struts, as they like to call them. But my at the moment, with the fuselage, my concern is keeping these little birdies dry. Yeah, got to keep little birdies dry, otherwise they'll get wet, and that won't do. So the disc itself, the lid is the biggest part, the biggest diameter of the plastic container. And if I show you the actual disc itself, it is actually slightly fractionally bigger than this lid, which is quite important. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to fix that to that. Yep, maybe just one in the middle might be enough. Just to make sure that this remains central between the two discs. And I'll fix that to the base. Sorry. That to the base of that. And then that will be on the other end as well. Now at this stage you won't be able to get inside. Once we get get all it all kind of cladded up and what have you, you're not going to be able to get into the box. We're not worried about that. I'm not worried about that. Birds are generally not worried about it either. You know, I mean, funny. It's going to be a bit awkward to actually make this as an openable box. Saying that, what I could do, if for instance, one side or the other is the back, which I'm not too worried about the details about, I'm more worried about the front. You could use a hole saw, a large hole saw, or even the bandsaw, and cut a disc out the back, which you could do at the end if you really wanted to. Because I'm not putting any details on the back face of the actual TIE fighter, because how I'm going to mount it in the tree, I don't think you're going to see it, because the leaves and stuff like that, you see, I want the things to grow around it, and just keep the front of it exposed, like TIE fighter. No? Okay. So if you want to gain access to you know, to keep it clean out once a year, to be honest, I don't think the birds care. I really don't. I think we're the ones more that care, unless something else goes in there, which shouldn't be in there. So that could be a problem. It might not. But at this stage, I'm more worried about making it look like a TIE fighter. Yes, it's very important, TIE fighters, you know, as you do. Right, so let's move you somewhere a little bit more. I'm fully aware that I think Max has streamed today as well, so we're going to be doing this for about 2 hours, but it won't be the end, obviously, because there'll be more streams to follow. I can't see me getting this done today. No. It's too... Oh, crikey. Like there. Oh, my giddy aunt. I need a cameraman, that's what I need. A cameraman. Oh, that'd be good, wouldn't it? I understand that. Now I know why Max hides behind his camera. No one can see him. A few hairbacks. Oh dear. Anyway, I probably will have a little go. Oh, not a little go. Going to Max through spare as well after this. So we need to screw that onto there. 2 screws maybe just one. I don't know. I think we're putting a few in. They don't need anything special. going to be inside the box. Only going to be countersunk screws because that's what I've got. Ideally, it should be pan heads really, because then they won't be less pressure. But first of all, put one in the middle, and also got to think about the fact that I want to make sure that I don't put a maybe want something behind that. That'd be a good idea. Will that do it? The right thickness? It is about the right thickness actually. I'm just going to cut a square of that, so as a spacer. Maybe you won't see it. Oh, I've got a big shutter job to do this week as well. Start this week. I might be streaming that as well, we'll see. So we've got that on there like so. That is perfect. Right, I'll bring it down to the bottom slightly, so when I cut the hole for little birdies getting out of the bit of wood in the way. I basically put a spacer behind it because obviously the shape of the lid, and that would be a bit problematic. So I'll put that on there like so. And I'm going to put a couple of screws in. I need to drill those holes first, but otherwise I'll just split. The plastic will just split on me. That just won't do. This is a drill I found earlier. So just to hold it in place really while we actually put the thing together. So a little about 3/4 screw now. Oh dear. Maybe one of them might be. Is that going to be too long? Will a pan head be too long? Let's have a look. Yes. Those will anyway. So do I have any shorter pan heads? Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. No, I haven't. They're going to have to be them. Don't matter. Does not matter. So I'm just trying to make sure that the lid isn't overhanging the plywood disc. Now what I would like to make would be a Millennium Falcon full scale of the model. That's what I really want to build. You can, they do make one, they do make a kit. But I'd want to make it out of wood, because I can. But I'd want that to be really detailed. So that might be another series, but I think that's going to go on a bit. There might be I don't know, a weekday series or something, or weekday series? Anyway, an ongoing series that might take me some while to build. There'll be a lot of detail in it. Alright, that'll do, that's fine. So now we've got that attached to there, so now I can attach that to there in a minute. Before I do, I want to attach that to there. Don't need any space on it, just will make sure it's central. You can do that by finding the dot that I put on there, look at the dot on the bottom of the box. It's like from the moulding there. Line them two up and then I know it's central. And then I'll put that on top of here, and then I've got to think about how I'm going to clad the sides. Well, don't you think about it, because I already have thought about it. And wood can be bendy, you know. Oh, break. So, so let's put that in there. First of all, I need to put some pilot holes in there first. Not pilot, I mean clearance holes. Holes that will just split. The reason why I've got this plastic box, if you only just arrived, is because we want to make sure that the birdies don't get wet. No. And I'm not talking about that kind of birdie either. You dirty little devils, you. Right. Maybe that one. Oh, more fingers and thumbs. Oh dear, carpal tunnel. Blame the carpal tunnel. I'd only want number 6 screws ready for this job, but I haven't got any of that length. Yeah, that's the middle. So only hold it while we do the next stage. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. So there. Right, so I've got a popcorn a popcorn container attached to a wooden disc. Isn't that exciting? It will be, don't you worry. We're early on in this adventure of the Darth Vader's TIE Fighter. Right, now we've got 2 discs attached, as you can see. We need to attach them together like so. Hopefully the lid will go on properly. And the idea being is that it'll be watertight within reason. I'm trying to get the lid to pop on when you've actually just stuck a bit of wood on the end of it. It's quite difficult. So I'll just grab a chisel. So I'll use that as a little lever. I'm not going to use my chisel as a lever. No, I'm not really. I'm not going to do it. But I am. Sorry. It might work. That one's on. That one's on. It's working. That's going on now. A Millennium Falcon would look so cool in my office. In my den. I don't know what the missus will think. Because it'll be about a metre long. Or about 800. If you get a 1-to-1 scale, I think it's about 800 to 1,000 millimetres. So okay, we've got this arranged. You can hide out that. So as you see, it's a plastic tub with a wooden hat and a wooden base. And nearly broken. But so what I want to do now is I want to clad that. I want to make sure it's covered in wood. So how am I going to do that? Oh blimey. Well, I've got this old thin, it's about 9mm pine, and it's what we call here in France lambry, which is the stuff they put on ceilings. In the UK you'd call it matchboarding. Well, used to anyway. I don't know what you call it these days. Probably call it a load of shit. But it's basically the stuff you put in ceilings or cladding, what have you, in the 80s. It's not the sort of thing you do these days. Now, if I had my steam bender out, which wasn't covered in wood in the barn, I would use that. And also, I wasn't that prepared. So what we're going to do is we're going to attach these bits of wood around the outside of this box, bit by bit. And one or two might snap. And then we'd need to obviously cut it and start from that point again and keep moving along. But what I've done, I'll put those slots in the back. Oh, that quite deep, so I can't really take them any further than that. So it does bend quite reasonably well. But where the wood, if you look at this bit, there's not a good selection. If you can see that, where it's dark, that's got high resin content, that's low resin content. So that piece with hair does not bend as freely as it does hair. That bends much easier than there. Remember, that's only about, 3mm thick at that point there, if that, 2.5, 3mm. And hair is still quite rigid, still. It's going to have to be 4 strand. So you've got to kind of ease it, really. You can't go crazy. If you're a steam bender, I'd use green oak then. And then I'll just stick it in the steam bender and that'll, when it comes out, it'll stay there. But I haven't, so we're having to persevere with what we've got. So that's that one. The ones, like, for instance, this one, this is, you see, that's the same colour all over. That'll bend much easier. And these is just reclaimed boards from somewhere in the house. Or somewhere. I can't remember where now. Because I've still got nails in. So, but if you look, if I put that around there, I can get enough bend out of that just to get it around that there, yeah? So that's what we're going to do. We're creating, it's going to be countermand a cookie jar. We're making a TIE Fighter cookie jar. But this is the first stage. There's a lot more details to be added to it to create the impression. Obviously, what they called it again? The main transparent steel viewpoint or viewport. Just what? Why can't I just call it the windscreen or the space screen or the space debris screen? Oh, I don't know. Anything to make it sound cooler than what it really is. Right, so I'll need that, but also I'll probably need my low angle plane. Now, this may be a low angle plane. This one is together at the moment, but got a plane on out of it. if I told you that what looked really, really low is actually not that much lower than a standard number 4 smoothing plane. Now the reason for that is this has the actual bevel for the grind of the cutter on the bottom, and that has the bevel for the grind on the top. There's only about a degree, maybe 2 degrees in it. It's actually not that low. It still does a brilliant job though. It's a bit of a fallacy though. People don't realise. So, you know, in some ways you might be better off getting yourself a good quality smoothing plane, and it won't be far off what you get from that. But you must know how to sharpen. You must learn and practice to sharpen. And I do like sharpening stuff because it gets sharp and it becomes fun because it's sharp. You can cut things with it. Right, so that's going to go on there like so. There's obviously a lot of trimming to be done. So I'll glue and stage by stage, and glue and attach them all the way around this disc. It's a bit of a faff, I know. I'm kind of creating little fractures in the wood now, but that doesn't matter. Not at all. When I sand the outside, I'm going to have to be careful because wherever it's cut, the wood's only thin, isn't it? So, okay, I think we could do that. I think the first stage of that one, I think we could probably do with a... Oh, am I going to use my 23 gauge? I'll try the 23 gauge pin hammer first, pin nail first. You know, you could obviously do it by hand, you know, it's not a problem. Either way, it doesn't matter. I've got some glue mixed up here, not too thin, quite thick. And we're going to, before I get into there, blah, 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 blah. What have I let myself in for? And why? Why? Right, I'll put a line on there so I know whereabouts the glue's going to have to go. Alright, so I'm going to apply the glue. I'm putting more glue on than what I would do normally. And the reason for that is I want the glue to go into all those little cuts within reason, not just on the top face of those where those cuts are. I want them to lock the bits of wood together. Just make it stronger, you know. This is going to be out in the weather, in the wind. Not that kind of wind. The wind as in the wind in the air, you know. The blowy type wind, not the farty type wind. No, the blowy type wind. Right, so I'm going to try a couple of pins in there first. What we're going to do, this bench is flat. So what I'm going to use is a square to make sure that this edge here and that edge becomes perpendicular to the bench as we go round. Otherwise, you'll end up with a problem with an accumulative error. So in this case, I'm going to make sure that's flat. That's touching all the way along, which it is. That's a good start. And now I'm going to put a pin in there. One in there. Oh, missed. Get in there. That's it. Oh, 2 that missed. 2 pins, look. 2 of these little 23 gauge pins. They're tiny little things. They missed and they almost went into my hand. Yeah. And then you've got death by pin. Not quite, because they're not going to hurt anyone, because they're tinsy. Good. Right, so we know this is staying perpendicular to this face here, and now I've got to bend that round like so. Once I get the swing of it, it should be a lot quicker. It's the glue that's going to do the job, not the pins. So the pins are just there to hold it while it goes off. And once I get all the way around, we'll then tape it up as well, probably, if it's under any kind of resistance. Gently does it. You don't want to go crazy because you just end up breaking on you. I don't want to break. Oh no, it's my TIE fighter. Right, so that's the first one. First board on, little crack in it there. Doesn't matter. We'll fill it with glue. That's what you're doing, it. Fill it with glue. Next one, and this one, because that one's at 90 degrees to that edge, I'm going to have to plane this one. So don't end up with a big gap. I don't want a big gap, if I can help it. Yeah. So I need to plane it down on that edge. You can actually make that, alright. There's various ways you can do this. And a gadget, you know, I'm looking at my templates, I've got this jigsaw, not jigsaw, bandsaws on my way. You go over there, bandsaw. I use an end grain shooting ball for playing my end grain. But in this case, I'm just going to use it to help me plane the edge of that. That's what I do. I'll do a video about shooting balls another day. So I'm just going to put a bit of an angle on it basically. So hold it up like so, at a slight angle, and make it a bit easier so it goes together and the joint isn't all gappy. You want a gappy joint, do you? No, no gappy joints here, thank you. Come again. Right, not on there. Oh, we're getting excited about our trees for our project. Because obviously this is going to go amongst the trees. We had a bit of a hunt yesterday for trees in a couple of places actually. One place was a place called Rochechouart en France, and another place, I can't remember the name of it now. I can't pronounce it, so I won't try. Make a fool of myself. I'm good at that. Anyway, we were a bit taken back how expensive some of these trees were. Before we actually started this, we did actually do a little bit of research, but made an assumption that a lot of trees cost a similar amount of money. Oh my god, no they don't. They're some of them are really, really costly. So we've come to the conclusion that our original plan, it looked like we were actually going to be overplanting too much. You know what I mean? So the trees become too close together, a bit like a wilderness. And the advice we've had so far is that you've got to be careful because you can create disease. You know, fungal viruses or fungus or whatever, which go through the roots. Fungal. So we're going to do more speciality trees to make sure they're healthy. So we get basically space between them. Because yes, we could just put loads of oaks up and loads of that sort of stuff. But the other thing we were worried about is when we had a walk around this place, you know, in France, the French, well, people in general, not just French, anyone there, to be honest, they treat the forest as a business, which I understand because everyone needs to survive. But the problem is it sustainable? I don't know. I'm not happy to plant all these trees and find that somebody in decades' time, you know, will be long gone. We will. Obviously, the trees have got to grow, haven't they? You know, that's what they say about trees, isn't it? You plant them for the next generations. I don't want to. Well, ideally, I don't want people to feel that, oh, look at all this value. Oh, oak, it's a good price at the moment, isn't it? You know, and then they come over and chop the trees down. We don't want that, if we can help it. So, but what we're going to do is, we're still doing our research regarding that, but we want people to see the trees as ornamental, more than just business. And that way they'll be there for much longer than what, you know. Obviously, while we're custodians of it, well then it won't be a problem with it. There's no way we're going to cut them down. Open hell. I like trees. I don't cut them trees down. I hate to see it happening. I don't know about you, but one of the things I hate is when I can hear that chainsaw in the distance across the fields, and I think to myself, it actually makes me feel sick. I think it does. It makes me feel sick. I think if I'm honest about it. But equally, I understand. I don't want to understand, but I do understand because people here, it's their livelihood, what they've always done. I don't like it though. It's not so bad about chestnut because chestnut, I know it's not so pretty and it gets spoiled somewhat. But the thing about chestnut, there's my compressor. The thing about chestnut is, if you coppice chestnut, it grows back. You know, just like willow does, or just like hazel does. You can coppice it. Some trees, when you cut them off to the ground, they don't grow back. They don't coppice. Or was it coppo en français? Anyway, we met with a lovely chappie down Rochechouart. Well, I say Rochechouart, it's a place called Bianac. And it's a nursery, they sell all sorts of stuff there, but I didn't realise how many trees they had there. Crikey, we went around the back of that place, and there was trees everywhere there was. And can you see what I'm trying to do here now? So we're cladding it with this bendy pine. We're creating the bends because we're putting all these little slots in the back. And we're creating what you could Tantamate call a cookie jar. But it's not. It's going to be the fuselage eventually. Yes, there's more details to go on. And obviously the wing, the solar, what do they call them again? Not the ion engines, not the solar ionisation reactor. Oh, the solar array wing. Didn't realise they were solar powered. Right, so then that one's going to go on next. So we need the shooting board again, which is over here. Just makes it a little bit easier to hold on to it. And the shooting board generally is used for planing end grain of a piece of wood. So you have a piece of wood on there like so, and you get your plane, and that way, because that piece of wood here is there, it stops the end breaking out of a bit of wood. But I'm not using it like that. I'm just using it as a way of, so I can create an angle on the bit of wood. Come on. Okay, check those chats, don't I? Right, so what I've done is using a little plane and a shooting board there. I'll create a little angle on there so that when it's attached to the next board, because obviously what's happening is they're doing that as it goes around, so the angles are changing. So here we got it anyway. Da, 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 da. Matthew said he's built this in Lego. Aha! Can't be bad. Oh, you have got a lot of Lego there, Matthew. That I do know. Is it still gathering dust? I hope you clean up after yourself. I'll tell Mother that I will. I was wondering if you were going to stream it. It's interesting to see alternatives. Use some metal. Could use some metal, Jasper. Might even use metal in it if you like. We'll see what we can find. Clad it in metal would be quite cool, wouldn't it? In the 70s, I worked on lighting for a stage. Got many a shock, Peter did. Yes. Now, when I used to work at a place called Lacey Electrical in Norwich, they went bankrupt actually in the end because when Shell at the time, was it Shell? Or one of Shell's subsidiaries went bankrupt. He went bankrupt basically, and his father was Lancasters. They were his father was a Porsche engineer or something. They used to a lot of Porsche stuff. And anyway, this guy here, Stephen Lacey, his name was. I don't know if he's about still. Probably not, because he was pretty big. Probably had a heart attack or something. But anyway, he was actually quite a nice guy actually. And I used to work on these travel check garages and various other places and banks and stuff like that. We used to do with the old hand drivers, the initial hand drivers. You remember the rounded aluminium cast hand drivers with the big silver button on the bottom? On the front? Well, I used to fit like those. I fit hundreds and hundreds of these blinking things, in especially Barclays banks. And I was working in the fuse box. I was only young. I literally just got the first day, just passed my first year. And there I was in this blinking Barclays bank in the fuse box. We're working live all the time. We weren't allowed to turn anything off. We had to work live. So with my screwdrivers, I arced one of the trips, just little MCB trips. So I arced it to the metal fuse boxes. And I arced it to the side with a screwdriver by accident, and the whole fucking, that's my friend. I swore, the whole lot went out in the Barclays bag. Well, there you go. Let's work with the power off. It might be a little bit safer, I would say. But no, that was, it was interesting times. So Matthew says I'm a total Lego Star Wars fan. Oh, greetings from Zuid Limburg. He is and all. So Mo Green is a fan too. There you go, Matthew. I keep getting these bot comments. They're really annoying. I don't know what to do about them. Do you ever use hot water to bend wood? Yes, I do. But also, I do have a range, which is basically a big pipe, and a wallpaper stripper to create steam. And you screw the lid on the end, and you put your wood inside it. I usually do it with the green oak, because it's one of the best timbers to use. And besides, when you pulled it out, it's then seasoned, believe it or not. So, and once it's been steamed, also it stays there. Whatever bend you put in it, you get a little bit of relaxation, but on the whole, it's pretty much, as it was as you put it in. So generally, if for instance I wanted to bend a curve or handrails, generally what I was using for when I was doing staircases. So you create a handrail, a curve in the handrail, you put it around your template, clamp it all up, chuck it in your steamer, pull it out several hours later, and it comes out, and you do clamps, what have you, let it cool down, obviously. And it's that shape. It's brilliant. Now, I learned that from my father. He used to do a lot of steam bending in the boat building industry. So, for instance, he would be steam bending gunnels, what have you, like around the bow of a boat or in the stern, where he had this like gentle curve around the gunnels. The gunnel's the top part, where you got the hull meets the superstructure. So it's that part there. That's your gunnel. It's a bit of wood, running straight, goes around, and that would be steam bent, generally in green oak. So they were the skills of yesteryear. These days, it just comes out of a mould. Hello, Steve C. I hope you're well. I hope you're still taking... Oh, I don't know if you heard, Steve. Did you realise that Canon and Nikon are discontinuing DSLRs? Yeah, that's what I thought. Madness. In the 70s, I worked on the light... I've said it already. Susan DeWitt says, nothing's plugged in or switched on. You either got a fit problem inside your fuse box or in the cabling itself. Possibly vermin. Rats are eating your wires, they are. Do you have any kind of like, you know what it smells like when they're like hair burns? Yeah, if you've got that smell, you can pretty much certain that it's a rat. And you'll probably find there's a rat attached. Hello, Paul. We had problems with electric. I'm going back too far now, aren't I? Oh, you take care of it, just been videos. You have a good night's sleep if you haven't already left. Oh, that was Ginger's, was that? Yeah. Get one of them little devices. You'll find, I think everyone should have one anyway because it's such a handy little thing. At least it tells you if there is a problem. You don't have to fix it. Kit Kat says, yeah, no more Canon DSLRs. Canon were the first to announce it, but it looks like Nikon are following. I'm a photographer, so Canon. It looks like Nikon are following suit as well. So no DSLRs. Like the old-fashioned SLRs, we had a mirror that flips up as it takes the picture. It's what we call a reflex camera, or SLR as a single lens reflex. Well, you had the digital single lens reflex, is what we use these days. They're not making any more. The last one is the last one, so I've been told today. Which seems crazy. Professional photographers, they don't generally use, I'll tell you what I will do. Those of you who have got single lens reflex cameras, the price is going to go up, the value of them. Especially the higher end stuff, like the, professionals, like the DX1s and stuff like that. Or like even the Canon 5Ds even, they're all going to go up in value. So, hang on to them. Don't get rid of them yet. Bit of a shame. There's a lot of reasons why you'd want to hold, carry on using the DSLR for various reasons. Some of it could be to do with, let's say for instance you did stuff with telescopes or microscopes or stuff. The thing about the DSLR is that there's so many possibilities. Plus, there's so many lenses available. Now, I have a Nikon DSLR, which I don't use that much these days. I also have a Micro Four Thirds, which is a mirrorless camera, which is the direction that they're going now. Which is a Panasonic Lumix G7. I use that in my videos a lot because it's they're brilliant with video. They're really good. So that's what I use. That's why I use that. But the thing is, it's just I don't know. I think really, maybe I'm a bit stuck in my old ways and what have you, because I'm old school with photography. Steve C will tell you, because I've talked about this before. I used to always work in film. I did a lot with stuff in the laboratory, colour printing and what have you. C41, EP2, RA4, all those different types of processing methods with print and film. with old silver halides and what have you. And it was yeah, good old days, I suppose. I used to work with a company called Coes in Norwich until I left to go with work for Boots in the laboratory, which is a bit of a mistake, really, I suppose. But it's more of a hope that the new chemistry, which is the RA4 at the time, wasn't going to make my skin blow up. Because, oh, hang on, it looks like I might be out of nails. Oh no, I need to reload. Reload! Oh dear. I might be better off with the other nails, actually. I might use the other nail gun because these are a bit skinny. If I'm absolutely honest, this is a bit skinny. So let's use the 18 gauge. I'm coming out with the 18 gauge nail gun. That one. And I don't want 40 more nails because that's what I've got in there at the moment. We want something much, much smaller than that. Crown nails would have been even better, but my crown nail gun. Ah, there you go. I'll do 15mm. 50mm nails in there. They'll just hold a bit better. The other one's a bit, well, they don't really hold them, to be honest. As long as this doesn't split the wood as I put it in. Otherwise, we'll be back to the 23 gauge. That's good. That's fine. That's much better. It's the glue that's going to do the main job, you know, hold it all together and what have you. But the nails are just there too, or the pins, nails, pins, whatever you call them, are there just to hold it together as the glue goes off. Oh, it's looking good. It's looking good, it is. I know it doesn't look like much at the moment. I'm getting quite excited about how it's going to, when we start doing the details and the wings. Right, okay. So there you go. There's that stage. Oh, about just under halfway round. Should speed up now. Now I know what I'm doing. There you go on there, like so. Good job, got the glue glued up, glue mixed up. That's what I was trying to say. I do mumble. I do know. I do apologise. I know Max will spare. I don't know what time he's on tonight, but I'm sure some of you will be wanting to go over to Max. Too depressing these days, to be honest, politics. Especially in the UK, it's all madness. Absolute madness. But hey, this is not about politics, no. I like making stuff. This is a bit of a strange build. Never made one of these before. So we're just kind of going with the flow, really, and see what happens. Now, another way of holding this all around, once you've got your bits of wood around, what you can do is put a strap, like a ratchet strap, but a pull-through strap, and you can pull it all tight together, and it holds it all into place. But I'm just doing it bit by bit, nailing it in place, and afterwards I'll get a load of tape and make sure it's, you know, it stays where it's supposed to be. We don't want it to fall to bits, do we? No. We'll be safe. Poor old Darth Vader would fall out, wouldn't he? Right, it's doing it. It's working. It's much better now gun for the job. The holding much better. Yep, that's it. That one's on. Good. What's next? Oh, we've got another one here. Oh, okay. Going with the flow now. Going with the flow. I yabba jabber too much, and then we don't get done, and we've got to get done, haven't we? As well. Got to think about that invasion. Those pesky rebel scum. Are they Lib Dems or are they Labour? Oh dear. That's what the Tories would say. Alright, so. This is working. I think it's working. Houston, we don't have a problem. Oh. So, I think we've got to do a Millennium Falcon at some point. I don't know if it'll be a bird box. The Millennium Falcons are quite big, aren't they? And we've got to do it in scale with each other, haven't we? Otherwise it's a bit, yeah, a bit pointless. Okay, onto it. that's a... Oh. Oh, it's getting there. Watch your fingers, because nails going to your fingers do hurt. I can vouch for that, because, you know, it has happened to me before. You're okay as long as it goes in your bone. You don't want that, no. You'll know it. Come on, get in there. It doesn't want to go. Why isn't that going in? Because it's firing all the way through, that's why. That's better, that'll do. We'll get that on the next one. Hang on, let me do that one there. Got it. The problem is, because where all the little slots are, where that edge is thin, the air nails are literally just firing straight through. In some ways, we'd be better off with just ordinary nails, you know, and just hit them with a hammer. But we're getting close. Well, cookie jar. Right, so another one there. Now I've pre-cut all these, but we will need to just want to show you how I cut that one. Well, I cut that one like that one, just so you can see for yourself. Like I say, I'm winging this, so I'm hoping it's going to all pan out well. It might be an absolute disaster. I think I'm quite confident. The only thing is, for a little tiny little bird, we're creating something that's actually going to be quite big. It's going to be that big. Just a little blue tit, or great tit, whatever it's going to be. Yeah, great tit, wasn't it? Yeah. Depends what size hole you have, because great tit's like a 32mm hole, and blue tits need either 25 to 28mm hole. Otherwise, the other birds come and eat all their young. The bigger birds do. Like magpies, for instance. Now, I know magpies are beautiful, but they're a pain in the neck in lots of ways. They they eat the eggs of the other birds, buggers. But they're very pretty, I must say. But the same with any bigger birds. Now, we're not just going to be doing bird boxes. I want to build 2 or 3 owl boxes as well. Owl houses, owl boxes, whatever you call them. To go on the end of a couple or 2 of our barns, and that will, provide them a bit of habitat as well. It's not just about little birds, but big birds as well. It's about an ecosystem. We're trying to create, some everything looks after each other. We provide food for everything. The insects. Caroline's been out there gathering straps of wood, old pallets and stuff like that, around the garden, which are going to be used. Which she's already broke them up into bits of wood, and we're going to use them for to start with, for the insect houses for the first stage. Before we start buying material, we want to use up what we've got first before we start buying material. We want, obviously, the monies we've got for the GoFundMe, which I'll leave a link in the description later as well, if you're interested, which we're hoping to plant. It's probably not going to be quite 1,000 trees now, because the plan's changed a little bit, because we're going to be going for... Hang on, what's going on there? Ooh, we need more nails! Reload! Because we're going to be going for some slightly different species. They're a bit more expensive, you see, but we want to make sure that we're creating habitats for all creatures, not just a very narrow... it's not just going to be not just oaks and chestnuts and hazels and birch, silver birches and stuff. Well, we are getting silver birches, but in fact, that's one of the trees that Caroline, my dear wife, wants. She wants a few silver birches. Which trees are trees, They all have a part to play in the grand scheme of things. It's all got to be down to obviously what we can actually get as well, because we want to try and support our local community. We don't want to be buying trees that have travelled like hundreds of miles. Pointless then, until you're sort of defeating the object. All you're doing is creating a problem. I don't want to be creating a problem by, you know, buying stuff that has a crazy amount of land miles. So we want locally propagated stuff. And luckily, we've got some nurseries near us. After all, we are in the sticks here, you know. We're not in the city by no means, as you can probably tell. We are in the country. That we are. I'm sure Matthew can contest that. But locally, we have two main nurseries here. Two trees. One's the one I told you about earlier. Another one, which I can't remember the name of its name. Well, I know its name, but I can't pronounce it. I definitely can't pronounce that. Something. It's French. Anyway, it's a French name, which is fine. It doesn't make any difference, does it? Right. We haven't been there recently. Actually, no, we did pop in the other day briefly. We hadn't spoke to them. Whereas the one at Rochechouart were really helpful. They took us around all the places where they had all the trees and stuff. We didn't even know they had all this, you know, stuff all tucked at the back. They had masses and masses of trees, all bare rooted in soft, like sandy soil, ready to be removed and planted. There's obviously something we have to bear in mind. Whatever we get for this land that we want to plant up, we've got to make sure we can get it in the ground quick enough. So there's Caroline's very keen. Go and get some trees now. Go and get some trees now. We've got to plan this. We need to make sure that whatever we put in is correct for our land for a start. That it's not going to be invasive for the other trees. And I've had some good feedback actually from people on the other channel as well, on some various posts I put up, which has been very handy. Well, I'm fairly clued up with a lot of stuff, but you know, just like you know a lot of stuff, but not necessarily in detail. If it makes any sense. As I say, you know, jack of all trades, master of none. We're getting close now. Typical little gap. That's annoying. Got that one there as well. So I could put that one on first. I'll do that first then. And then that leaves a narrow gap. We can take a bit off the other one then. So you can see why I'd want to use the plastic container inside first. Because then it ensures, no matter what gets through the wood or past the timber, the actual little birdie house is going to be dry inside. I suppose I could have, before I put it together, actually, I could have stuffed that with some straw or something in there first. But I can do it afterwards, to be honest. I can chuck it through the hole, can't you? So they've got something to be getting on with. Now, we do get quite a lot of birds there. Sitting there on the bog, as you do. There's no curtain on our window. There's a blind, but we always have it up. Matthew can vouch for that. And we can sit there watching the birds, doing what they do, while we have number one and number two, number whatever. Lovely, yes. It's poo with a voo, that it is. Poo with a voo. But currently we have a lot of great tits. We have a lot of sparrows, as you'd expect, but also we have a lot of robins as well. The robins, they don't have a box like this. They don't. Generally, a little red robin, they don't go in a little tiny hole like a blue tit or a grey tit. No, they'll generally live in an open bird box. So what a lot of bird boxes, they have like an opening at the top. So you'd think they'd be vulnerable, but I don't know. But what they do is they are generally shrouded by, not for instance, you place it within a tree, behind vegetation. Another robin, little robin redbreast. Very sweet little things they are too. We do have a few of those here. I'll tell you something, wildlife is, well, I'll tell you, you already know, wildlife is fantastic. And we are very privileged to live amongst it. Right, so it's that one there, isn't it? I thought it was that one there. It's a bit wider one end than the other. That's there. What's it there? There. Oh, there, that's same. Right, so just need to cut that along there. Could probably just break it off if I wanted to, but I'm not going to, just in case. So I'll go over to the table saw. Oh, as you do. Right, so we are now at the table saw. This is a Jet Super saw. It's in your name, it doesn't mean say it's super because it's not that super. By no means. Oh, we now have a narrow piece of wood. So back to our cookie jar, or should I say, TIE Fighter fuselage. Yes, that's what it is. Apparently. That's what they call it. Oh, that's good. That's a fit. That's a fit. That'll do. All right. So once it all goes together, what I'll do is I'll make sure that we have a little drain hole in it. So whatever way up it goes, the bottom there will be a little hole just in case there's any moisture, or the little birdies are incontinent. Either way, we've got to let the moisture out. So it's on there. Now this glue here normally goes off within an hour, and this glue, or this particular mix of glue, I mixed at about 1 o'clock today, our times. Yeah, it would be 1 o'clock, and it still hasn't gone off because it's cold. But that doesn't matter; it'll still go off. It'll still do its job. And this is called Cascamite, and it's a powdered resin wood glue, and it's a urea formaldehyde, which is carcinogenic. Ooh, lovely. But it is, without a shadow of a doubt, waterproof. It's not as good as it used to be, although they say they've improved their recipe since. Or gone back to more the old recipe, but the batch that I bought was not that brilliant. Not very good at all, in fact. But you know what it's like. They don't actually, well, really, they should have refunded me, but they didn't. You just get the usual kind of argumentative spiel. Oh, test it first. You know, but no, it's not as good as it used to be. But it's still, you know, it still does the job, but it's not nowhere near as effective. Okay, that was the last little bit on there. As you use your fingers, spread it about. No? Okay, I just did, sorry. A few little nails on there. And then, we've got to think about the wings. What time's going at the moment? Oh, it's streaming an hour and a half. I was going to do about 2 hours, because for some reason, I get carried away, and I did stream the other night, that was 4 hours long, which is a little bit excessive. It's actually really tiring doing streaming. So I've got a choice now. So we've got this barrel. Ooh, look at that. Ooh, ha-ha. Ooh, juggle it, juggle. No? Okay, I won't. Right, that'll be trimmed off later. It's too long because it's going to be flush with that. And then it allows us to stick all the other bits on, which create the details and the TIE Fighters. What they're all called again? Solar Array Wings. And as, you know, you've got to have your solar array wings, haven't you? Of course you have. Now on Darth Vader's TIE Fighter, if this was the front, the solar array wings, they come further to the back. So ideally, I'd like to glue them up tonight as well. That, you know, in my next phase. I could do with finding something to clamp around this. One way of doing it would be a bit of rope around it, and then we tourniquet it. That'd be one way of doing it. Another way of doing it. Any ideas? What have I got around here? I normally got straps in it, but I can't even see any. That's typical. I should have thought that through, shouldn't I? Not very organised. No, but that's me. Hey, yo. Right, so what we got? Who's there? Are the birds out front by the kitchen still? Yes, they are. Tweeting away. If you watched my other video on the other channel today, oh sorry, you'd hear them because they're going tweet while I'm trying to... Very inconsiderate. I'm trying to record a video and there they are tweeting away. So yes, they're still there. They don't seem to go away. They seem to be there all the time. Kit Kat, we have had a lot of dead birches here that didn't survive the 3 hot summers of 2018. Sadly, something... Oh, okay. Are they young or are they mature, those silver birches? Because that would be something. We've got to think about shade. We've obviously got to make sure they've got water, especially when they're young. I was thinking about getting the boughs or like a water boughs and just tie up there with a quad and water the trees once a week. Make sure they're just got something coming in, just in case it's really dry. Really dry. Where am I? Up we go. We used to have a lot of Lego, but donated them to the local school for their after-school daycare. Well, the same, yeah. Luckily, we held on to all the kids' Lego. We pretty much still got it all. Good grandchildren, you'll hand them to them, don't you? My collection also collects dust. Ask Matthew, his collection does too. And then he gets his either his sister or his brother. They come over and clean it for him. The thing about there's some YouTube channels out there regarding I know a couple that do Lego and what have you. That demonstrate Lego on YouTube channels. Whether it's a new Lego kit that's come out or whether it's an old one or just putting Lego together. The problem now is Lego, even though it's still very popular with us old people, the problem is that it's still considered as a toy. And there's a thing called COPPA, which is COPPA. And basically, in the United States, they can fine you, even here. And I don't know how they do that, but anyway, they can fine do it via YouTube, I suppose. But they can fine you. It's like to do with like child safety and stuff like that if you don't abide by the rules correctly. And it's to do with advertising and obviously the GDPR. It's made it really, really complicated. So there's a lot of people out there who were originally earning money through the YouTube partner program, like Views and stuff like that, have had to stop because, all of a sudden YouTube is no longer placing adverts on their channels. So lots of people are very honest, decent businesses, channels and what have you, which would, supplying people with interest, people enjoy it and what have you, and now they can't perform. Sounds weird in front of children, doesn't it? But they can't do what they, demonstrate and, because obviously, children need protecting from advertisers and all that sort of stuff. And the problem with YouTube is that it don't necessarily, they might try, and the algorithms might say, but things get through, and then kids are vulnerable, and then big, huge fines are imposed upon YouTube. So what YouTube does is, in their way of protecting themselves, they put the onus on the actual YouTube creator, such as myself, but I don't do that sort of thing anyway. So, it's a bit of a shame, really, but it's kind of a sign of the times, isn't it? Kit Kat. Pretty much every pro photographer I know. I've had 2 Canon 5Ds. I had the Mark 1, the original one, and then the Mark 2, which I brought over to France, and I lost all my lenses on the journey over to France, and I don't know how. They disappeared. Somewhere along the line, they disappeared. So I ended up, thought, sod this, I can't afford to buy a load of lenses. That's like 5,000-6,000 quid worth of lenses, if not more. And then I couldn't afford to buy new lenses, because I had a house to renovate. Call it a house at the time. It was a case that I sold it to a French guy, the camera, and it was only about a year old, the body. So it was a lot of money at the time. I think that was like 1,700 quid or something. That's a lot of money just for the body. But anyway, these things are sent to try us. And I believe fir trees. You've got to be careful when you've got fir trees with any other deciduous trees, because I can't remember what around it is. If it's the fir trees, the leaves or the firs from the fir trees, as they fall, they create alkaline soil or acid soil. I can't remember, but either way, Some trees don't like being next to other trees anyway, so. Crikey, a Lego Titanic. Did you build it like broken in half or something? You know, a big split down the side. That cost £1,000. Crikey, is it £1,000 or €1,000? Well, that kit I was talking about regarding the Millennium Falcon, that I would love to have that kit. But that's like £1,000, and that's a full size. When I say full size, it's full size of the model that was used in the original films, like New Hope and what have you. And so detailed. Oh, battery's better on that. I'm going to have to plug in the battery pack. The battery pack was there, now it's disappeared. Oh God, what have I done with that? Let's go and grab a cable first. Oh, there's the battery pack. I'll use different cables. Use this cable this time because the might be in the cable. And then we'll put that biscuit tin, biscuit candy to one side, and then I need to glue up the TIE Fighter's wings onto a former. I say wings, solar arrays, what I like to call it, ready for tomorrow or the next day whenever I decide to do it. I can't really give you an exact time when I'm going to go live again because I just don't really know, because I have other stuff I have to do as well. There's the other channel, for instance. Right, so that's on there like so. I really want to put something around this to actually squeeze it in tight. Now, one way I could literally just get a load of clamps and put around, which might be an option. I might just do that actually. The other way is to create, I've got a rubber here. Not that kind of rubber, you dirty, saucy people, you. I mean an inner tube. Yes. God, you look terrible, aren't you? All that innuendo. So basically what I do is I put that around it. Yeah. Be like David Frost skimp suit. Right, like so. I'll rack that around there like so, and then I'll tourniquet it. And the idea is I put it under tension in the middle. First of all, I need to tie it round and then just tie it together. Or I could just put a clamp it together even. And then I'll tourniquet it. Oh, that sound of rubber there. Oh, God. Feel that. Put a ball in my mouth. Yeah, rubber ball, that is. But that ball will do. Right, so, okay. Right, so. Right, so what we can do is, well, it's probably tight enough actually, it's done the job. Never thought of that. Yeah, that's doing it. Sort of stabilise it, bring it together, maybe a little bit tighter it could be. Just put a couple of bits of wood in there. Put one there where it looks a bit loose. Get in there, you. Ooh. Right, that's so. That did it. Where it looks a bit on the loose side, I'll stick something behind it, I think. If I can get it in there, that is. Ooh. Right. A bit. Little pressure points. That's good. Right, so that will be ready for the next stage tomorrow. I'll put it to one side, and then hopefully that'll be, ready for cleaning that, what have you. All the glues have gone off and shouldn't require anything other than the glue to hold it all in place. Well, that is my plan. I'll just shove a clamp on there though. Yeah, I'm going to put a couple of clamps on this way. Oh, hang on, come back. There you go. A couple of clamps on there as well. Just to make sure of it. There's a couple of places I'd like it to be a bit tighter, such as there. Oh, glue squeeze now, it's a good sign. Oh, dear me. I had a tickle. COVID. Right, another one there. Nope, that's good. Maybe there. Another one there. Clamp there. That'll probably be about it. We'll put that to one side and hope tomorrow I'll be ready for the next stage. Yeah, perfect. Right, just make sure of it. So I'll put it over here. You can't see it, I know. It's over here. Honest. Right, here we go. Right, TIE Fighter's wings. Or should I say, the solar array, what's it? Oh, come here, you. Right, so let's have a look at my schematic. There's, oh, crikey, I'm pulling the battery pack. Oh my god. There you go. Right, we're looking at our schematic here. Do you know what? Tripods in a workshop are a flipping nightmare. Because there's stuff everywhere. So anyway, we're going to have a look at that. That's my schematic. Yep. And as you can see here, there's the fuselage. And there is the solar array wing. It's made of 3 sections. The middle section and 2 more sections. Now, the way I'm thinking it is, if you look at this middle spar here, that could be the support for the rest. So I think it'd be a good idea for me tonight, before I sign off, to try and get them cut and that piece glued on, because then that could be going off. And then tomorrow we can look at how we're going to do this, finish this off. This is quite easy, this bit. I think we're going to be doing that on the fret saw. What they call the main transparent steel viewpoint. Windscreen. Space screen, if you like. Solar flare screen even, but what? Main transparent steel viewpoint. Okay, well that's that. I think I've got that sussed. But then there's all these extra little details. As you can see here, if you look at the cross section here, they're actually quite thick, these solar array wings. So it's going to be a case of building up details by adding more and more wood to it, as in details. So we start from the core and we build up from it. I understand it's going to be a bit stylistic. It's not going to be 100% obviously to scale to this, because it'll be a bit sick. Because it'll be a bird box. And the more little nooks and crannies we create, the more likely the water's going to get in and make the whole thing fall to pieces. Nah, I don't want that. Want to be ever as long as possible. Be quite cool though if we put lights. Yeah, some lights. Some lasers maybe, yeah. Yeah, that'd be cool. So that's the bit we're creating at the moment. But if you look at the perspective of this thing we just made, how big these wings are. Well, I'm going to have to work with what I've got. And the timber that I've got is about 90mm wide. So that'll be 1, 2, 3. So there's 1, 2, 3 sections. But I've got this spar. This piece here is like a spar, which will then hold those 3 sections. So that's what I want to try and create. We've got 2 lots of that to do. So that's what we'll do now. That's my plan, and I hope it pans out. And then that'll be, oh crikey, legs of a tripod are a nuisance. If I cut them off, the whole thing will fall over, won't it? I won't be very good with that. Not very good at all. Oh, I got a gadget today for my other channel. It's called a Stream Deck. Got to learn how to use it. Oh, who's going to bed? Oh, Matthew, you're going to bed, are you, mate? You're nocturnal, mate. You're usually up all night, you are. I'm going to have to. I need to watch the end a bit later. Night, everyone. Enjoy. He's probably not gone to bed, actually. I know Matthew. And he's pretty much up all flipping night. And he sleeps most of the day. He's like nocturnal, is Matthew. I know that. Well, I stayed in his house. Yes. Wondering that Matthew's my son. And he's a good lad. He really is. And he does like his Lego, and it's really good for him because it helps with his dexterity in his hands, because he suffers with a condition called torsion dystonia, and yeah, it's been quite tough for them really. But I have full admiration for him because he's he's got on with his life, and I had this conversation with him before, and he said to me, I enjoy, that he enjoys his life. Can't ask much more than that, can you? I don't know if anyone knows what torsion dystonia is, but it's a condition that affects the basal ganglia in the brain, which sends the electrical signals, through nails, and I've got to pull out first. These are crown nails. Let's send electrical signals to the brain. And the poor Matthew is they're basically jumbled up. But he doesn't let it get the better of him. He gets on with his life. Got degrees and stuff, you know, he's a clever lad. So, fair game, eh? Right, go away you. Got nails in it. I'm recycling, you see. I'm trying to use what we got. These crown nails don't want to come out. Crown nails are a bit like a staple. So that's a crown nail. Yeah, a bit like a staple. Let's get them out of the way. Because I'm going to reuse this pine. Now I could use the plywood. I've got the plywood down there. But I think I would like to use pine wherever I can, because pine is less likely to delaminate. And although there is an exterior grade plywood there, well, I'm going to be sticking stuff on top of it anyway. It's ply being ply, it delaminates. But saying that, I'm looking at the size of that. These aren't going to be big enough. These are not going to be wide enough. I might have to use the ply. 3 sections of this. What's that going to look like? 3 sections. 3 pieces of this. 1. Remembering how big that is. It's about 220 millimetres looking at that from here. Now I'm looking over there because it's over there. It is over there somewhere. You can't see it, but it is. It's over there. Behind you it is. Behind you. Right. Will that be big enough? Looking at, no, I don't think it's going to be. I think what we're going to do is we are going to succumb to the plywood. And then, ooh, got my water's fallen over. Right, we've got 2 pieces, we've got plywood here. And that is definitely big enough to create what I want to create. And we could probably do 1 section there and 1 section there. But I could also do, instead of actually cutting all the way through to create that angle, because I think you remember the actual wing, looking on the edge of that wing, sort of straight, straight, and then straight sort of thing. Terrible drawing, isn't it? Like that sort of thing. But we could create it by cutting, but not cutting all the way through. So we could effectively bend the plywood over a former. And that'd be the central former. But I'm just going to remeasure over there with the actual fuselage. The bit where it's going to sit in. Blimey, that's going to be big. How wide is that? Crikey. God. What am I thinking? Right, so, yeah, 40. About 40 centimetres. That's a big bird box. How wide is this? 40 centimetres about, or just under. So that'll do. It's a big guess, and then 40, about 40 that way. And then 40 that way. Yeah, so we can do that. So if I rip that down into 2 separate pieces, do the shape here and there on each piece. Yeah, that'll work. I think that'll work. So let's get a square. So we can draw what I'm on about, so you know what I'm on about. Don't matter that I'm drawing on it because it's all going to be painted and made look more, you know, to look more like a, well, Darth Vader's TIE fighter. That's my plan anyway. It's a mad plan, but it's a plan. Anything that make people chicken neck as they come past. Just like the Wonder Bra adverts, you know, billboards in America and whatever that cause traffic accidents. I'm not supposed to be so shallow these days, so unless you're Boris Johnson. Oh, I didn't get political, did I? I think I just did. Oh no, don't do it. Try not to. It's hard. Right, so it's not 40, it's 13. What do 3 off? So how can I divide into 3? 12. 36. Oh, but 13, 39. If I go, I'm going to go 39 because that gives me 13, 13, 13. And I'll split it equally then. For the kerf of the saw, the kerf is the thickness of the cut that the saw makes. Put my line there. If you like, I'll make it a little bit more obvious. I'll use a marker. So hopefully you can see. Oh, It's a line. I think that's straight, yeah. Right, so now I'm going to split that into 3 because it looks reasonably, actually not from the core, that I'd say it is fairly equal between it. So I'm going to go 13, 13, 13, and that should give me this in between. But these 2 cuts here, at the 13, the intersections, I will not cut all the way through. So what I'll do is, I'll cut that off there, and then cut whatever shape I need on the end for that one, and the same with the next one along. But then I'll have a former down the middle, with the 2 angles on, to the central part. Oh, hello. Oh, my dear wife. Oh, there. I'm going to have to show you this. No. she's like the... she's a honey monster. What are you wearing? Oh, and she's got the slippers. Oh, got slippers to match. She's like the honey monster. Fade on. You see, that keeps us warm, you see. I say us. Ooh. Are you going to bed soon, are you all? Are you okay? You going to bed, are you all? Yeah. No. Oh, you're not? Okay. Fine. Oh, you've had a bath and done your hair. Oh, okay. What about my hair, my bath? Does it matter that I stink? Obviously not. We could play Tootsie in the bath. Oh, scary thought. Right, okay. Where's my coffee? My dear wife has got me a coffee. Very kind of her. What I do need, though, is one of them mugs that Glasgow Kiss was talking about. I'm going to grab one of them. Because in here, the temperatures drop so fast, your coffee goes cold really quickly. Oh, coffee. French coffee. Well, not French coffee, really, but... Yeah, she was comfy. Our son got her that. Stefan bought her that. Keeps her warm. She's wearing it all the while, though. It's pretty cool. Well, that's interesting. And Peter does. These are the tiles you've got in your kitchen. You say they're the ones that were used in the Titanic, or that the patterns were. Yeah, the thing about all these skills of yesteryear, some are long gone, really. Some of them are long gone, but we need to revive them, really. The thing is, anything like that kind of skill, that level of skill, because it's so expensive, people can't afford it anymore. You know, unless you're Boris Johnson, and I'll go and do it again, aren't I? I want fancy wallpaper. Gold fleck and that, whatever it is. Right. 1326. I'll cut one first and see how it looks. There will be extra details go on there, obviously. Now, like side here, if I look at the actual, there's an angle. There's an angle here, an equal angle at either end. So I'll use a bevel for that. And that's a bevel. Yeah, bricklayers use one of these as well. Well, generally, probably not so much these days, but we used to when we all on the tools. We'd use one of those, and we'd use that to create angles, and we can replicate those angles. But first of all, I need to do this cut here. I could cut that with a jigsaw if I like, but I think I might just cut that on the table saw. Oh dear. Oh. I'll bring you over in a second. Oh no, it's all this noise, oh dear. I want to make some wordy gigs later, which are like little windmill things that power little people bashing each other or whatever. Could be Star Wars again, it could be I don't know, Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker with their, lightsabers, attacking each other as the wind blows. Da 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 da. Nearly forgot about you. Go against the fence, same width as that other one, the first one. Two are the same. Identical. This is ridiculous for a tiny, tiny little bird. Hey-o. I hope the sound is still okay because I've got a battery pack plugged in. Last time it was a bit hissy, so hopefully that is still okay. So then we need to mark it across here. Decide on the angle, probably about there, about 30 degrees, something like that. On there. There. After a bit, plywood is definitely easier to work with. Right, so we're going to remove that, that's waste material. But I want to mimic that onto this one as well. Oh, you can't see properly yet. There you go, bring it down a bit further, there you go. So we'll mimic that onto there, so effectively the same. This is all material that I've had kicking about, recycled effectively. Da, 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 da. In other words, it's not new plywood, it's plywood that I've had kicking about. Now this is WBP plywood, which has been glued together, the laminates have, with either a melamine glue or a phenolic resin glue. If you get plywoods, you're better off with phenolic resin glues, they are far superior. But the difference between WPP, exterior grade plywood, such as this one, to marine ply, for instance, which is used obviously in the marine industry, the main difference, the glues are the same actually, but the main difference is the fact that the veneers are of higher quality and you're guaranteed not to have any voids within the layers of the plywood. Because whenever there's layers, those voids can fill up water effectively, which helps to laminate the plywood, especially if it freezes. But marine plywood is like twice the price. Right, so sort of a mark along here, or thereabouts. It's not an exact line because I won't be going against this line. It's a visual really. Good, that way might help. Because I'm going to score that with a table saw, basically cut part way through with a table saw, so then we can bend it. But first of all, I want to cut these angles on each one there. They haven't got to be exact, but near as damn it. We'll do that probably on the radial arm saw. Could do it with the jigsaw, but like you do with the jigsaw, you get a lot of splintering. So I'll do that on the radial arm saw in a second. But also, I've got to think about these two main spars, which are going to hold the whole thing into shape, and then we'll build off that. So what am I going to use? I wish I thought about that earlier. I'll tell you what I'm going to use. I'm going to probably use a bit of Volet lamb, which is 27mm pine. And it's Volet lamb is literally, what I mean by that is Volet's being shut as lamb being blade. So that means the individual sections, like for instance tongue and groove board. Or I've got this here, which is, a piece of old pallet. That would be perfect size. There you go. I'll use that. It's actually the right length. Thereabouts, near enough. So we'll use that. I do like having lots of offcuts on slightly shutters this week. I'll probably get more offcuts as well. So that's what I'm going to use to create the shape of this wing. I call it a wing, but it's counted as the solar array wing. Now looking at the spar, it doesn't go all the way. It goes to about there on either side. So about, 40 mil either side. It's not rocket science, but it's not hard and fast. I'm kind of going with the flow with this because this is going to be a one-off. I'm not trying to replicate it. I can't imagine anyone want me to build one of these. It would cost too much money. And then I'd have to make sure it's perfect, wouldn't I? Oh dear. It's one of those things when you make things for yourself, you can use a bit of artistic license, can't you? Well, I made for myself. They must do. If they don't watch Star Wars, there's something wrong with them. Right, okay. Now, Mandalorian is on Disney again. If anybody's into Mandalorian. But I'm waiting because I don't subscribe to Disney, you see. So what I do is I wait until there's enough of them. Enough Mandalorians on Disney. So instead of paying every time one episode, because I don't want to watch anything else on Disney, so I only want to watch that Mandalorian. That was quite good last time. So what I do is I'm going to wait until there's enough of them on there. So when I do finally pay, I can binge them all. So I'm having to be patient at the moment, week by week, waiting for them to, get a whole season on there, and then I'm happy to pay. Then I can cancel again. That's a good thing about Disney. You can cancel whenever you like. So it's quite good like that. So that's what I'll probably do. I tight. Why do I want to pay for something that I'm not going to use? I can watch Lion King or whatever it is, or something with princesses in, am I? It's not my thing. Right, so I'm now I've got that on there, so I need to work out my distance here. Like I said, I'm winging this, so I was kind of like, what do I do next? And this is what I'm going to do next, so this is what I'm going to do next. So I'm going to centralise that. It's 95 at the moment, and that's 90, so bring that away a little bit. 90. So now that's central. So I'm eyeing up down to these lines. I'm going to put a mark there and a mark there. It don't matter if it's not 100%. You won't get hung up on that sort of stuff. Life is too short to worry about some things. A line there and a line there. Remembering that is all waste. Right. So now I want to think about that shape here. It needs to be what's the angle there? It's probably about 30 degrees actually. About 22. That'd be like 22.5 degrees. That's what it looks like to me. So it's going to be a little bit less what I'm doing. But it'll be near as enough. Near as damn it. So I'm going to mark that there. I don't want it quite all the way on there. So like so. I know I'm mumbling. And on there. And then same on this side here. Remembering I want to go start a little way from there so I can finish the end nicely. And if I want to put any more materials up to it, which is most likely. That does look about right. That is about. So if you want 90 degrees, effectively that's 90, isn't it? Yeah. So half of that is going to be 22.5. So it's not quite the right angle. If it is 22.5 degrees, that is. And the reason for that is because the materials that I've got. Like I say, it's not to scale. It's artistic license. Yeah. Fair use and all that. I'll get down by copyright for making this. Oh no. Really? Right, so now we need to cut the angles there and, obviously length. That'll create two formers, and those two formers will predict the shape of the two solar array wings. As they call it. I didn't realise they were solar. I never knew. But I do now. So let's take this over to, I'm going to use the chop saw, I think, to get those angles. I've got the angles to cut here as well. And the two part cuts, where I'm cutting part way through, to create the clearance so we can fold it up basically onto this former. Will be done on the table saw. So I'll move this over here. La 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 la. And I'm going to bring you over here as well. Turn the light round. I've actually made a lens hood for this camera, believe it or not. Yeah. Because before I was getting a lot of light glaring into the lens. So I made a little plastic, lens hood. Now this device that I was talking about earlier that I bought called a Stream Deck. It's basically a series of LCD buttons that you can press, which makes it do functions. And it works with the software that I use for streaming on the other channel when I'm in the office. So I'm hoping I want to be able to make them a little bit more lively, a bit more fun, because they get a little bit stale at times. Well, I do anyway. I get stale. So I thought about trying to make it a bit more fun. So I keep spending money, but I don't make any out of it. Very little anyway. This Woodworking channel doesn't make anything at all, obviously. But it's on the other one. I get a little bit confused, but it's nowhere near what it used to be. Nowhere near. If anything, it's about 1/10 of it. There we go. We're going to have to cut down here as well, but we'll do that on table saw. Let's get these angles done first. A bit of this saw, because it's cutting in on the downstroke, it tends to hold the wood down to the surface, so you require a lot less pressure to hold the wood into place. This is a DeWalt radial arm saw, a RAS short, and it's the model DW125. It's quite old. It's the third one I've had. The first one's my father's, which is worn up. Then I bought another one which is also worn up, but this one is in fantastic condition. It's hardly been used, apart from me. The difference being is because I use it all the time, I've been looking after it. And everything on this saw works perfectly well. You see what I mean? That's it. Just check and see if it's buckled the blade. It's not buckled. What I'm going to do is I'm going to shorten it down and recut it. Ah, that's annoying. And that's because I wasn't holding it down to this tight enough. Like a fool, but there you go. C'est la vie. a little bit shorter. That's why you never ever put your fingers in line with the blade. That's better. You could clamp the thing down, but generally in region, I've never had a problem before. Have I had a problem before? Maybe once. Not like that though. Have it made you jump? Did it make you jump? Maybe. That's why I'm pulsing the blade, it don't grip so much. So now what I've got to do now is shorten that one now. Because obviously it's a little bit long now. Come on. Artistic license. So you pulse the blade, every time you pulse it and release, pulse, release. That means whenever it grabs, you let it go. Grab, let go. That's where the jigsaw is obviously safer. The thing about this saw, it does actually do a really good job. Now, never hold like that, because you ain't actually. What happens if that does grab? You can pull your hand. If you do it here, it'll pull it away from your fingers. But your hand, you're putting your weight on. It's not a good idea. That's one of the reasons why a lot of people don't like these saws, these red arm saws, just because they're a bit scary. Oh, did anyone see that? Probably not, because probably people are going to see Max in a minute. Fifth column here. The fifth column here on YouTube. We did an interesting video on this conflict. He doesn't think anyone will take. I just give you a heart attack. No, don't worry. Oh dear. Yeah, I'm sure they have. Gingers. Who saw that? Blimey! Is that Kit Kat? Did you just see my bit of wood get grabbed? Just keep your fingers out of the way, it doesn't matter. Whenever you stand in front of a table saw, any sword, never stand in front of the blade. You're in a line of trajectory. Oh, you're talking about Ukraine? That's frightening, that is. I'm really worried about it, to be honest. That is very, very concerning. I think people underestimate Putin. In my opinion, anyway. I'm not an expert, obviously, but I just feel that people underestimate that bloke. He's dangerous. Right, so we've got lines on there. Obviously, I don't want to cut all the way through. Like, at the moment, I just cut all the way through, and then it's pointless. Then I've got to glue it back together again. So I just need to create a bit of, I need to manipulate that into a shape. So what I'm going to do is put the blade where I want it to be, which is about there. Lower the blade. But like I say, whenever you're cutting, don't want to be in front of the blade. You always stand on one side of the blade. You never lean and put your weight into the blade, because if you lose, obviously you slip or whatever, your fulcrum, your centre of gravity, is going to put you near the blade. You never have the blade higher than it needs to be, within a little bit higher than what the actual thickness of your cut is. But if it's too high, you're more likely to cause breakout in your wood, and you're more likely to cause problems for yourself, because you've got more blade exposed that you can cut yourself on. Now, one thing you might notice on this saw is, where is the guard? There is no guard. The reason why there's no guard is because this particular saw doesn't lend itself to having the guard. The reason for that is the riving knife that comes with this saw, which is a little bit of metal, usually at the back here, which is something else that I'd like to have on the saw, which I need to find a way round. I've been racking my brains out for the last few years, actually, since I had this saw. But it's, I can't find a solution at the moment because of the way it has to mount on the side. But anyway, my point being is, I do a lot of blind cutting. So like, for instance, we're about to do a blind cut, and that cut is when you've got cut all the way through. And when you've got the riving knife on with the riving knife, and which usually holds the blade guard, you can't do that. Really, it's a bad design. The blind cutting is a common thing to do on a table saw. It's like they don't want you to do it. Well, you're not going to stop people doing it because that's what they want to do. What they'll do is just remove the actual guards. That's what I've done. I don't generally use guards anyway. So anyway, I've got that on the outside there. Anyway, let's go for it. Hopefully I don't cut too far through. You see, I cut part way through the wood. Hopefully we can bend that over that former. Yeah, can't at the moment. I need to ease it a bit. But we'll bend that over the former to create our shape. Look at that. I might have to do another cut as well at a slight angle into that. But first of all, we'll do the first cut on each piece. So obviously I'm not too worried about the blade at the moment because it's not sticking out very far. As you probably realise, the radial arm saw can be quite dangerous. It can grab because of the direction the blade's coming towards you. Now, because I need more room, I need to do another pass, but I'm going to do it at a slight angle. But to do that, I've got to change this zero clearance for an open insert, such as that one. There you go, let's pull it out. The Darth thing about this saw also, there's lots of great things about this saw, but there's also lots of stupid things as well. The position of the rest allow this all this void. There's nothing at the back, nothing at the front. So what can happen is the front and the back do that. It's not great. There's never been a problem saying that. I just think it does. You know, I think it's asking for trouble. But that's the design of the saw. Right, so what we're going to do now is I've angled the cut slightly. Make sure it doesn't poke all the way through again. I think that's good. Maybe a little bit less than that. Iron it up. From that point there, I think that's okay actually. Let's have a look. We'll do one first. Bending quite nicely there. Is that the right shape? I don't know. A bit more than that, I think. That's better. So we'll fill that with glue basically, with the resin glue. But be careful to overdo it because I'll just crack along here, you see, on the other side. One side. Yeah, I think that's alright. That'll be right. Just ease it when we do it. And on the other side. Doing it this way just makes it a darn sight easier. Right, so far so good. And now we need that former. But that saw blade, I need to cut the former in half. So we need to get that the right angle. So get back to 90 degrees, perpendicular with the actual tabletop. Expand the or raise the blade. Like so. That'd be pretty gruesome, wouldn't it, if I did actually have an accident online while I'm doing a live stream? That wouldn't be great, would it? Right, there you go. Some people might like it. I don't know. There's some weirdos out there. Right, so there you go. Right. Because I did what I should have done. I should have cut that before I did the angles. But I want to have more to grip hold on the rail arm saw. So, something with the. Where's that gone? Oh, there it is. Oh. To make sure I can push on. That's it. That's good. So now we're just gonna rip that down the middle. And these are the two formers which we want to glue that to. Yeah, that should work. Right, so we'll take it back to the bench, glue that up, and then we'll be ready for our next phase on another day, probably. Don't know how long I've been streaming for. Oh, what start would I start about? Oh God, 3 hours again. Blimey. Everything seems to take much longer than anticipated, or it tend. Oh, I hate legs on a tripod. They always get in the way. Right, here we go. Loads of people probably left me now anyway, because they're probably going to watch Max. Between Ukraine and stock market. Oh God, yeah. From the park, yeah, I know. You're right. Shouldn't do it. I know it's a bit worrying. It's just another distraction for me. It's quite handy, isn't it? I don't think the war is designed, but I don't think it's not designed on both sides. Putin wants to gain control of Ukraine. He wants them to be sympathisers of Russia. Right, where is my glue? I need my glue. Mix some more glue up. Where's my powder for my glue gone? Nope, that in it. That was there earlier. Oh, there it is. Right, there you go. We've got my powder. Just mix a bit more glue up, so we can complete this section. There's my little spatula, which is a little bit of wood. There's my waters over here. So there's going to be lots of finishing off to do. And, oh God, I might put a bit more, too much water in there. But also there'll be lots of little extra details to add. Little tiny bits of wood just to create the details. So like you paint one bit, then you add details onto the next, and go on from there really. Mixing too much glue up, I think. And this is Cascamite powdered resin wood glue. If you think about what they use in hospitals to, the bandage, they put it in water, don't they? Then if you break your leg, what have you, put your bandage on. They put it in water, and it goes off on your leg. Similar principle. I've got phenolic resin. This is a powdered resin wood glue, and it's based on urea formaldehyde. There's other ingredients as well, but probably more a case of diluting it down more than anything else. Replace all the expensive components with cheap components. That's what they seem to do these days, isn't it? So, okay, we've got that there, and we're going to just leave that little bit just to. I might put this fan heat on here just to allow that wood burn, more wood on the wood burn, and it's, I can hear it's starting to die down. My Darth punk wood burner. Works extremely well, made up of old wheels and a gas bottle. Okay. So on this channel I've been trying to do a certain amount of videos, almost like just simple tutorials, like talking head tutorials. Like about wood moisture and that as well as little projects, whether like little tricks and tips and stuff like that. Just try to create a bit of a mixture at the moment. Yeah, to make it interesting, I suppose. I hope so, anyway. So just leave that for a second. So that needs to be formed around these two formers here. And I just might have to do a bit of tweak and just make sure that they are in the right places. Like at the moment, I'm looking at that moment. It looked a bit long on those angles, so I think I'm going to need to take a bit more material off that one. So if I mark it first, then I know whereabouts to go. to make sure it's actually in the right place. There to there. Right, so basically I need to remove a bit more material here. I need to remove a bit more of that. These should be in the same position, so it's probably exactly the same problem on this one. Yes, it is. So I'll go back there and then put off that on. Basically, they both need a bit of trimming. I'll just go and do that. I won't bother moving it, it'll be a bit boring. So I'm just going to trim those two there. At the moment, they're fractionally too long at this point here, just overhanging that slot. Like I say, I'm winging it, so it's, you know, we're not really going to a plan, are we? What plan? Plans? I don't do plans. No plans for me. That one's good. So is that one. No accidents, don't worry. Right. So that's going to be the form on that one. So we're creating a skeletal structure really, aren't we? Just, yeah, for the first stages of this build. Now I'm kind of trying to fracture the fibres in on the other side, on the outside of that, so it actually folds. If you don't fracture those fibres, it's not actually going to. There you go. That's perfect there. So that's going to be that one like so, and that one is going to be like that, like so. Can you see where we're going with that? It's certainly an overkill for a, bird box. So yeah, we got on there like so. And something I was going to do and I forgot, and that was to do some little videos. You know, do some recordings so I can actually do it in stages. For an actual video, but I forgot, so never mind. So 15, 17 and a half is about in the middle. There, thereabouts. Just going to go on there like that. And the same will be with the other one as well. But first let's glue this one first, then put that to one side. We'll put some nails in from the back as well, just to make double show of it. But the glue needs to mix properly first. I'll get in there. I thought I'd just put this on. No, because I hadn't plugged it in. Plugging in is usually a good idea. There you go. So mix that glue up. Dropping it everywhere. There you go. Yeah, it's getting there. At the moment it's a bit cottage cheesy, a bit lumpy. But what happens is it absorbs the moisture and becomes more creamy the more you mix it. And the more it absorbs. So you kind of I tend to put it on one side and leave it for a bit, do something else, come back to it. But I really would like to get on with this, to be honest. I'll have a look, see what you guys are saying. Guys and gals. I'll try not to, Kit Kat. It does happen occasionally. Well, say that, I've actually done that before. I don't think I have, have I? No, once. I've done once or twice done before, but not for a while. The fifth column here on the YouTube did an interesting video on this conflict. I say he doesn't think anyone will attack anyone and gives us reasons. I think people need to remember that Putin's not just about conflict, as in, bashing heads together. There's more to it. It's also the fact that the economy is going to be hit hard. It's going to affect everybody. Whenever there's doubt, there's problems. It affects the economy, affects people's lives. And Anyone thinks that Putin hasn't got sleep agents anywhere. It's also terrorism, don't forget that. Putin already performs terrorism, such as poisoning people's underwear, poison on doorknobs, or the perfume bottles, or whatever it was. That kind of mentality you get from these people, like such as Putin, or or what's his name from North Korea, poisoned his blooming cousin, didn't he? This shows that how they don't care. They'll attack anybody, and then claim ignorance and say, "Oh, it wasn't me. What are you on about?" Like Boris Johnson does. No, it's not ready yet. Lumpy still. Yeah, it's still lumpy. It's getting there. If Boris Johnson holds, but the way I see it, I'm not saying I'm right. But regarding Sue Gray's report, if Boris Johnson holds that back or redacts anything, I think it'll have the effect of what's the word? Basically saying, this is all true. I think it'd be more damaging than actually coming clean with it. Best thing he could do, apart from sodding off, would be to say, he put his hands up and say, I made a mistake. Admit it. Admit that he made either a mistake or that I've been a what, and then let's go from there really and see what happens. Because if he's still in 2024, people are going to remember this. He's going to have to go a hell of a long way to try and pull this round now. The way he's behaved and the fact lots of people suffered as a result of his decisions. And to say that COVID is over, that's just ludicrous. Or behave as such. There's people out there who still working in these places, the hospitals, what have you, NHS, and they're still snowed under. It's not over. It's very foolish to behave as such, and it's just a case of him trying to save his neck anyway, isn't it? Or will they love me again if I let them do whatever they like? A lot more are doing it already. To me, it tells me those who behave like that don't care about other people. It just means they're selfish. Oh shit, I'm talking about politics now. It's about TIE fighters, oh dear. To think about the Empire. Right, so we're going to glue that up there onto there like so. And it's squeezing the glue up on each of those joins. So, first things first, I'll make sure the nail gun has got suitable nails in it. At the moment, these are too dinky. Tiny. I do. Coffee's gone cold. Bugger. I definitely need that mug. Quite expensive, that 30 quid for a flipping insulated mug. It just seems like a lot of money. It's Contigo, what they call ones. They look very good though. It seems like a lot of money for a flipping mug. Anyway, on there. These make sure it's true. I won't fly straight, will that? No, of course not. It's not true. I used to fly model airplanes years ago when I was a kid. I still do actually. I was building at the moment, saying as a kid. I hadn't done it for a while though. The last couple of years I haven't flown. There's a club nearby here, so it's quite handy. Or I can fly off my own field, so it's either way. So, okay, so that's basically what I'm trying to recreate. So that is a solar wing. It's a bit excessive, isn't it, really? It's a bird box, for God's sake. Right, so we've created that. That's good. That's good. Right, well, I think we can put a couple more... poking through a little bit there. Not necessarily a bad thing. Right, so I'm going to put a line from here, there and around, so I know where all the... Yeah, where to put the nails in. With the nail gun. There we go. Let's go for it, shall we? Let's go for it. Whoa. There you go, they're all in. All the heads down, yeah, on there a bit high. There you go. There you go, the splinters. So there we go, we've got our first angular solar wing. Right, a lot of sand, a lot of mould, and a lot of extra bits to glue onto there. But we'll put that to one side. Let's quickly the other one. And by tomorrow, I might have to mix more glue actually on this. Might be enough. So we fill that again with either side here. So make sure these spaces are good. Yep, I'm happy with that. This glue, when it goes off, I've said before, it actually goes really hard. It's not like PVA, which goes a bit rubbery. It's strong stuff it is. It's great for gap filling, all this, jobs like this. And it's waterproof, because it's a resin. Da, 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 da. There you go. Nearly there. Things when you're doing all politic-y type stuff all the while, it does get you down sometimes. So it's quite handy to have something that, is a bit more fun. Such as the woodworking. Something about wood. I like wood. I like what I do. I like wood. Give me wood. Right, next line down the middle there. I'll have to do an ordinary TIE fighter later. But how do I do the round ball in the middle? The fuselage in the middle, which is literally like a ball. I'm just easing up, so I'm just going to make sure I've got the tearing the fibres a little bit. Help it basically. You don't go, or if I just go try and pull it up in one go, that just split all the fibres. There you go. That's going up nicely. That's good. Now we need to put the glue on that. Quite pleased with my my gargoyle letterbox. That's really come out really well, and I'm getting really good feedback from neighbours as well. I had my our friend Violette, who lives in the Hamlet. She's French. She sent me a message yesterday and said, "Oh, your letterbox is brilliant." She won't come and see us at the moment because of COVID. She's an anti-vaxxer. It's a bit nuts, but yeah. Told me last year that was all over, it was all done, and I thought it was flu, and everybody in the hospital was were the ones that were vaccinated, which seemed a bit odd. But hey, it's good. Right, so let me get the first nail in, push it into there like so. Really awkward. I suppose if I had that way up, it might be easier. Ooh, maybe. Right. Did that work? Yes. Right, do some on that side then. Ah, slipped. Right, get in the right place first. We're a good idea with that. That was silly. That's better. Yes. Right, side cutters, cut those nails off because they're in the way. Or pull them out even. They'll probably pull out even. They pull out? Yeah, they'll pull out. That's gone. Let's start again. Basically, I missed. Well, I didn't miss. The angle, basically, setting out together, it was on skew if. So we need to do it again. That's better. That's better. There we go. Right. It's good. On there, make sure it's on there. Rid of all the old lumps. What I might do on these, oh no, it won't work. I say I was put a clamp on there, but yeah, it's not going to work because it's an angle. You have to cut an angled shoe. Right, okay, we've got them two now. They're cut. Quite happy with that. They're glued up, which is quite good. Glue's all used up, so there's no waste. It's good. Sorted, done. So now we've got a fuselage. I'll show you the three components we just knocked together. Let's put that out of the way. Right, give you an idea what's going on. I'm a bit of a mess, isn't I? Get that part of the way. Right, so we've got one wing. Just grab the other wing, which is here, and I'll bring down so you can see for yourself what we're on about. Basically what we've done is we've created a, well, kind of chassis really, everything to come together. Remember, this is only a bird box. Right, so we've got a centre section here, which is the fuselage. So that's where the old Darth Vader was, you know, sitting there and trying to shoot down the the rebel scum. And then we've got the two, what they call the solar array wings, which are going to be mounted. Remember, there's a lot more details to come on here as yet. They're on my plans, so that's going to be going on there. It goes to the back like that, sort of. I think, oh, sort of like that, and one on the other side. So like that, and then sort of like that. And this is going to require quite a bit of painting, because obviously because it's plywood, it's going to need a lot of protection. So we've got the two solar array wings, we've got the fuselage in the middle, and then we're going to have all the, obviously there's the, what they call it on there, have they got a name? The wing pylons. We've got to create the wing pylons, which are the pieces that are going to be, that attaches the wing to the fuselage. Well, that's kind of the plan. So I think we're getting there. We've got the main. I can feel it now. I can feel it. I can feel it in my fingers. I can feel it in my bones. No, okay, I'll shut up now. No, not quite like that, is it? Oh, I don't know. A bit like Flash Gordon. Hello Lee, how you doing, buddy? Cheers, man. Yeah, I'm getting there. Remember, it's only a bird box. There's a lot more to go on with it as yet. Let's bring it a bit further away just so you can see a little bit better. I've got this battery pack in my way. I'll try to keep it away from the camera because it interferes with the sound. So like I say, we've got this arrangement here going on at the moment. You can kind of visualise it. So we've got this round bit in the middle that looks like a bit of a wooden biscuit tin. Inside this is encapsulated a plastic popcorn container. Yeah, as you do. Because I don't want the little birdies getting wet, no. Just in case the outside leaks. And because it's round, expansion contraction likely it's going to split and crack and allow water in. So what I've done is I've built it around a plastic box. Then that's going to go on there like that sort of thing. And there's going to be a pylon, what they call. I'm looking at my schematics. It says there's a pylon. So these are going to be they'll be like tapered pylons go on here. And then the other solar array wing goes on the other side, like so. Sort of. If you can see, obviously that's too low in a minute. But that's the sort of thing. So, but then I'm going to try. I want to try and add more detail to it. I don't want it to just be like a biscuit tin, a wooden biscuit tin, and two kind of weird bits on either side. I want to try and add the little details. Like for instance, you've got all the separators on the solar wings and stuff like that. So I could just paint it on, but I think I'm going to do it in detailing in the wood. So there'll be lots of extra little bits to glue on that'll fall off in the rain. Yeah, if the water gets into it. So it has to be painted or lacquered. Paint it first, get the colours, get how you want to look at how you want it to look, then just add, then just saturate it in lacquer, sort of clear lacquer. So that was kind of the plan. So we're getting there. I think we've done for part one. I think we've done quite well actually. I think that's going to be pretty cool. And it's a bird box, remember? It's a bird box. Ridiculous. And it had to be quite the thing because it's round. You have to create more room inside it. It's only for a little grate tip, and also the hole can't be any lower than 120mm from the bottom. So it sort of dictates the size. If it's round, it dictates the radius of the actual, fuselage. I don't think it's going to fly because it might be a bit heavy, especially when we add all those extra bits of wood on. It's going to be very heavy. So we're streaming for 2 hours and 42 minutes. I was going to try and keep it to 2 hours, but it's kind of like, how to say, like usual. Charge extra to the bird who lives in this fancy house. I think we should. Could be like a troll. Yes. Oh, is that another bot? NIO and then, oh god, whatever that is, I don't know. I've got 2 bots. Oh, lovely. Yeah, so little birdies should be quite comfortable. So I think we're getting there. I think we've got the first stages all together. Say all together. We've got like elements of. We've got one solar array wing there, another solar array wing at the back here. And then we've got Darth Vader's fuselage here. Just got to give him a few creature comforts, as you do. And then, but we'll do that another day. Will it be tomorrow night? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Depends how I get on. Yeah. Got lots to do. But you know how it is. Anyway, my wood burner has now died down. So I haven't put any wood on it since I've been streaming. So, that was all roaring away it was. My Daft Punk wood burner, and now it's kind of like, and I can feel it in here. It's getting cold. I can feel it in my fingers. Yes, I can. I've got my electric one on here. Yeah, that's the one that's making all the blooming noise. It's quite handy, but there you go. If you need a bit of heat when you're mixing your glue and what have you. But if anyone's got any suggestions for new projects, once I finish this one, be most welcome. But also, I'll tell you some projects I want to do. I'll make some whirligigs. Whirligigs are the things like windmills and stuff that make other things happen or do. Like they whirl around and make stuff move. Yeah. Whether it be, like I said earlier, well, Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader with their lightsabers. Whatever way you like. Be like chitty bang bang. No? Okay. So, yeah. It's going to be quite substantial. So anyway, thank you for watching. Me most kind, don't forget to click the like button, will you? That'd be most appreciated. If you found Dabby Dozy. And I will be doing some more live streams on the other channel. I just got to get my head around what I'm doing. Plus I've got this Stream Deck thing now as well, which allows me to do other things if I get my head around it with my sound effects and stuff like that. And I'll try and polish it off a little bit so it's a bit more, together. And I'll show people what go watch Max now. Peter Crush, robot dancing. Oh yes, of course. As you do. Don't you? An arcade machine. You're right, P. Dallas. They do seem to like me. Yeah, I don't have many people watching, and it's like, I got 10% of my viewers are bots. Oh dear. Lee says an arcade machine. What kind of arcade machine? Like one-hand bandit or something? Or? Cool. Cheers anyway, everybody. Thank you very much for watching. And I'm going to have to make a move. Yes. So over and out. Ta-ta. Oh, where's the button? No, that's lens. Oh, that's my nose. Oh, okay. Ta-ta.